Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. I'm glad all of you could be here with us today. As you can see, Jan from New York City Saves Money is alongside with me
Hey,
today.
Steve. Hi,
Hey, Jan.
everybody.
Hi. So, um, so let's see. What you said you had some things that you
Yep,
wanted to.
another tip and trick up my invisible long sleeves. Right now, I'm wearing medium sleeves. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing well. We are all interested in keeping more of our money. If not, why are we here? Why are we watching channels that display such shows? But there is a method that I am totally convinced because it works for me. Now, sometimes you hear the words meal plan. Some people hear the words meal plan. Either they embrace it wholeheartedly or some head for the hills because they think they're like on a restriction thing there. And if anything, that is so further from the truth. Now, I like to have foods conveniently. You know something, Steve? I want to say something. There's a big confusion out in the world today. A lot of people equate fast food with inexpensive food. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. There might be one or two specials to get you in there, and then they'll nail the person with a very expensive drink. You're not going to save money by going to fast food restaurants. You might, and it's a big word, might save some time. And that's a big word, might, because I look at it this way: the time it takes to jump in the car, get ready, go, maybe wait on a line, go through a drive through. This is the way I think. Okay. So it all depends. If you're on the road, it's always a good idea to have a few snacks with you, but that's another show. So I'm interested in this. I like to, as I call it, manufacture my own frozen or convenient meals. As Steve knows, as you guys know, I work from home. And I like to put all of my energy and effort into my projects for the various projects that I have. But I also like to eat decent meals. I don't want to just eat, like stuff that's, I don't even know what's in it, or I can't even like read the name. To have a couple of convenient items on hand, yes. But if I could quote, end of quote, manufacture my own convenience foods of which I know what's in it, and it does not waste any time whatsoever. One of my favorite go to meals to quote, end of quote, manufacture. Now, you could go either one of two routes, okay? You could go the baked ziti route with, let's say, meatballs in it or vegetables in it, or the lasagna route. Baked ziti is very fast. I call that tired man or poor man's lasagna. Lasagna is awesome, it has its own merits. And sometimes what my mom used to do, bless her heart, she used to make those flat, I think they were called rigatonis. They're like flat rectangular pastas, and she used to line them up in such a way as if it was a lasagna too. If you get a 13 by 9 pan, for example, all you're doing is assembling. You're assembling the pasta. All of this can be done ahead of time. Now, what I love about this type of meal, it can be adjusted. You could get the gluten free type of pasta. You can get a vegetarian type of pasta, like made with vegetables, like the spinach one or whatever. You have so many choices, or go for standard pasta. It's a blank canvas. You can make it with meat. You can make it with vegetables. It all depends on your taste and your family's taste. This kind of meal can be done like mass production, but easy in one sitting, in one setting. If I have to go to a potluck lunch or a dinner, or if I have folks coming over by me, they look forward to my big ziti. And it's the easiest thing ever because all I'm doing is assembling and making it ahead of time. But now, when it comes to manufacturing your own individual meals, there is actually a specific process that one could follow. It is important to get to the dollar store or save or collect those little plastic containers that, that repurpose. Steve and I are huge on repurposing things. So if you could find plastic containers from other things that you paid for and repurpose it for storage and freezing, be my guest. But we're going to take this trick to another level. A 13 by 9 pan, in my opinion, for a serving size of baked ziti or lasagna, whether it's with vegetables or with meat, gives roughly about 12 generous servings. So think in terms of cutting down those layers of a lasagna into 4 and then 3 across. And you have all those servings. You could do one of the following. You could adjust it to the size of and the portions for your family, or you could cut it into, let's say, just sections of 4 and adjust it accordingly into your storage. Here's a trick that some people do, and they want to like save a lot of space, real estate space in their freezer. What they do is they freeze the item into, one of those freezing containers. But of course, you cannot use those in a standard conventional oven. But you can use that to heat up in a microwave, of which you have the choice to leave it alone just like that. But what some people like to do, they let it freeze and maybe the next day remove it and put those little slabs of the lasagna or the ziti into individual Ziploc bags, which takes up a whole lot less space in the freezer. It all depends. So we have choices. We live in a world of choices with especially meal planning. This is just an example. Some people like the flavor of meat and can't afford to buy, the ground beef. Strong suggestion. Get those flavored meats that are already done up. Maybe you might get a better quality jar sauce, but who's to stop you from making your own sauce? Okay. You have that option as well. Don't like meat? Make a marinara sauce. Prefer vegetables in your lasagna instead of meat? Swap it out. Whatever you want. But that is one of the easiest meals to meal plan. It's not so hard to make. You make it in advance and it freezes beautifully. And you will get 12, if you use a 13 by 9, in my opinion, 12 generous servings. Serve a little salad on the side. You can make the salad head in the morning and just heat up what you need as you need it. Talk about a really good meal on a tired night, Steve, without having to go to the fast food restaurant, knowing what you put in it. I think it's a slam dunk. What do you say, Steve?
I agree with you. And one thing about it is, it's your own creation. You know what you're putting in it. If you go elsewhere to get it, you don't know what they're doing to your food. You don't know what they're adding. You just know that the person takes your order, rips out the ticket, gives it to the cook, and you don't know what's happening in the back. And I know a lot of people are very apprehensive about not being able to look at your food while it's being prepared. And I get that. I really do. Um, there are a couple of places that I can go that I can actually watch the food being prepared in front of me. They'll actually cook it in front of my very eyes. And I do feel better about those versus, say, going to fast food is not good. McDonald's is probably the worst place you can go. Although I do like their desserts and coffee. Haven't been in 100 years, but their desserts and coffee is not bad. But you have to be careful. You're better off just preparing your own food. If you make overage, that's not a bad thing. You can always freeze what you don't use and go back to it at a later date. I just realized something. Those Hormel meals that you had bought and then you turned me onto it, like the beef roast au jour and a couple of 3 others. I just realized something. That's basically a Hormel complete on a bigger scale if you think about it.
Yes, that's
Because
right.
and I had done some
Save those
video.
containers.
Yeah. I mean, I had done a couple of 3 videos about a year or so back. No, about a year on that. So if you decide you want to go and check that out and revert back to my previous lineup, definitely take a look at it. And they're all good. The beef roast du jour. I think I did a beef tips. I did a chicken breast. There's about 3 or 4 that I did um, a review on. That's
And that's still way cheaper. And even though that was prepared outside, that's still way cheaper than getting up, going to the fast food place, spending money on gas. Um, I mean, unless you like totally, really like you're dying for that, you have a craving, and that could be another show trying to mimic some of the foods that we crave at those fast food places type thing. But I'm the type like I love convenience. There is nothing wrong with convenience. I love saving time. I have no problem with that. We live in a very busy world, and at the end of my day, I put a lot of work in my day, so to speak. We're tired type thing. So
yeah.
maybe, yeah, but I really don't want because a lot of people confuse fast food restaurants with cheaper restaurants. No, it is not.
No, there's quite a bit of difference there between the two. I'm relevant to knowing, a cheaper restaurant versus fast food versus a better class restaurant, which even at a better class restaurant, you still got to be careful,
And
you know.
imagine paying those extra prices for not even getting like a food server type thing, paying those extra prices. But I do agree with you. Two places, and this is me talking instant coffee with Jan type person. The only outside coffee that I personally enjoy are two: Dunkin' Donuts, got to say the word, and Mickey D. The best two outside coffees. But as far as instant coffee, I cannot tell you hands down. It's that Aldi's instant.
Yep, I got a jar right over there. Um, there is one other coffee you're leaving out, that is
Which
good.
one? What I forget?
Krispy Kreme.
Oh, I've never had their coffee.
It's it's in the league of Dunkin'. I'll go along with that. Dunkin', McDonald's. Now, I haven't had McDonald's in a while. The last time I had it, I could go in and get any size coffee for $1, from the little to the bigger. And I always got the bigger because I got more value out of it.
Sure.
And but and I would drink it, and I would take my time when I sipped it. But um, you get the most value out of that. Um,
Steve, you
Dunk,
know my least favorite, right? You know my least one.
Starbucks.
I don't like it.
All right, Starbucks has a burnt taste to it. For
To
those
me
that
too.
like it, for those that like it, more power to you. Plus that they don't support the military.
Oh, yikes.
And I have a problem with that because military runs deep in my family.
Yes.
So if you don't support the military, I don't support you.
Right. I hear you.
So that, you
I'm
know,
with you.
well, can't really think of anything else to add. You mentioned baked ziti. I love making that. I love making any type of spaghetti dish. Um, the only one I don't make, only because I have issues with the pasta shell, is manicotti.
Yeah,
And
it's
every
not
time
easy.
No, and every time I make it, the manicotti shell breaks because I
Breaks.
don't have a cake decorating icing bag. But you can create one. You can get a Ziploc bag and poke a hole on one corner and squeeze, and you can, fill it up with ricotta and whatever type of cheese, whatever you choose to put in it. But
Well, I heard you make a mean lasagna.
I do. Well, every year when my oldest nephew was younger, he would come to visit for the holidays, and I would have to have a pan of lasagna made. You know,
Nice.
so yeah. All right. Well, Jan,
Thanks for
it's
having me on.
sure, no problem. Glad that you could be here. What I'm going to do is go ahead and throw in some outro music, and if you want to close after, we can, or we can just go ahead and close now, whichever you like.
Anything you want. You run your show perfectly.
Okay. All right then. I guess we'll just go ahead and say our goodbyes now, and Um, we may be back on Saturday. I don't know what's up just yet Saturday, but that should be, and that's always fun. So we'll see what gives on Saturday. All right, everybody. I want to thank everybody for being here today, and I hope everybody has a good day. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.